Hello, Mata, the Visvim community on Reddit. Very helpful. They said my jacket is fake, so I feel a lot better. Good people on there. Rick Owens community on Reddit, not so much. A bit more toxic, and for some reason, people keep saying opium, so I know it's related to some sort of rappers, but I'm not going to look deeper into it. Today, we have a beautiful Visvim Kerchief jacket in the Kofu print, as opposed to the wildly popular bandana print. The bandana print is a bit more like an introduction to Visvim, and the Kofu is a bit more for the enthusiasts. My opinion, anyway. Run that intro real quick, please. We're gonna start the review from the top down, the spread collar. I mean, you guys know me, I love spread collar. It's beautiful, I live for spread collar. This one, it's beautiful, it's sharp, it's sleek. One negative thing, or one observant, not the biggest fan of the rayon battle of greasy grass under the collar or on the interior. I would have loved all Kofu print here, positive wise. What separates these collars from everything else that I own, they have dedicated snap button closure to keep the collar down. Game changer in my opinion. I get really annoyed when I'm doing a shoot outdoor and the collar just popping up, down, it's not staying in place. I need every brand to adopt this. If a brand ever asked me to consult, I would say, look at this Visvim jacket and do what they did with the collar. Your consumer will love it. Small details, it's everything when it comes to high fashion, because everyone is using the best of material. Everyone is using the best of everything. So the small detail will separate you from every other brand in the same market. It also comes with the extra snap button closure here that will keep the air out of your neck, you know, if it's really cold. Hiroki, very thoughtful designer. I don't have the skinniest of neck, so when I do this, I get a little bit claustrophobic. So when my neck feels like it's stuck, I can't handle it. So I appreciate that it's there, so the option is there if I want to, but never gonna use it personally. Two beautiful breast pockets that are somewhat decorative. It barely fits my phone. I generally use it to store my phone when I need my hands free for a moment. Aesthetically, it adds a bit of depth to the jacket. Think of it this way. It would look very empty if the pockets weren't there. Wouldn't you agree? So you also get the snap button closure for extra security. Again, can't close it when you put your phone in there. Doesn't fit a wallet. What's missing though with this jacket? Pockets on the very bottom. That would have been super helpful. I really miss it when I wear this coat, because all of my Bodhi jackets, or almost all of them, have these pockets at the very bottom, and I mainly use them to store my hands and sometimes my wallet and AirPod, because they're slightly bigger than the breast pocket. But I do miss it. If this jacket were to be like $100, $200, $300, I would add my own patch pocket, but since it's $3,000 instead of $300, can't fuck around with it too much, you know. Just in the future, Hiroki, please just look into adding pockets at the very bottom. I would love it. Most of your consumer will love it. Snap button closures. A couple weeks back, I said something along the line of, I prefer button up over snap button closures. I've changed my tune a little bit. I really like how fast you can take on and off with the snap button closure, whereas, you know, with a button up, you have to in and out. So these snap button closure, I only appreciate it for the functional aspect. Aesthetically, I'm still not a fan of it. I prefer to see buttons there instead of snap button closure. The button, they're also damaged up by the team at Visvim, so you see scratches here and there, which fits into the narrative of an old garment. 6 button, which is very standard. If I were to be out on that design meeting, I would recommend them to add more buttons or make them bigger or zigzag. So to take it from something that is just simply functional to a design feature. The scoop effect, I'm a big fan of this feature. It makes sitting a bit easier. Sometimes when you sit, the jacket bunch up because it doesn't have the scoop effect. Whenever I wear this jacket, I never want to put extra stress on it. I'm a bit like a girl in a skirt where they make sure they sit properly so their underwear doesn't show. I am that careful with this jacket. I can safely say for the past 2 months of wearing it, never once sat on it. I was super careful. We get to the most important part. What is Kofu? According to emmacreation.com, Kofu means traditional fabric in Japanese. The Kofu print and the Kofu fabric have been used for kimono clothing and accessories for hundreds of years in Japan. Many prefectures of Japan produce the Kofu fabric, such as Chiromin, Yuzen, Kusari, Hyundai, Mitsubishi. There's also a town called Kofu in Japan. The pattern, they're often of flowers, people, animal, and insects. Japanese people, they are obsessed with depictions of sex. If you look at my jacket close enough, you can see some poses. On my particular jacket, I mainly get flowers and geometrical shapes and a few sex poses. The flower, if you're wondering, they are called kiku or chrysanthemum, which are the national flowers of Japan. It is a symbol for the imperial family. I've seen some people get lucky with birds like cranes, small birds, whatever. So according to the same website, some more symbols include plowers, which are small birds that symbolizes strength and determination. Tortoise and pine trees symbolizes longevity, or in Japanese, teriyaki. The Kofu fabric are sourced from the 50 to 60, I believe. I read that somewhere. If I'm incorrect, please cite your source. Let me know if I'm wrong. I'm not that prideful. So, how did they do it? Well, it is by a process called Mitsubishi. So, how do they do it? Well, it is a process called Panasonic. The technique of dyeing fabric using a paper stencil is generally referred to as katsuzomi, or stencil dyeing. Dyeing technique can be broadly divided into resist dyeing and textile printing. With the resist dyeing technique, a stencil is placed on a white cloth, after which a layer of resist paste is applied to the top of it. After the paste is dry, the entire fabric is dyed and steam washed, leaving only the part that a dye paste was applied to be outlined in white. Textile printing is the opposite of resist dyeing, where a stencil is placed on top of a fabric and a colored paste is applied using a tracing spatula. The fabric is then steamed to bond the paste, which create colored patterns. The stencil used are called isi katagami or is-dye pattern paper. The katakami paper used to make the stencil, also referred to as shimbugami or tan paper, is created by pasting together handmade Japanese paper and using persimmon tanning to be dried up under the sunlight. This technique, which requires a lot of time and the knowledge of experienced stencil making craftsmen, is how isi katagami is created. Both the dyeing and creating of the stencil paper require a high level of technique that is learned over time. The round brushes used to rub the dye into the fabric are made using deer hair. Lengthier hairs are used for detailed patterns, while shorter hair that help the dye run easier are used for broader patterns. The tip of the round brush gets shorter than the more they are used, creating subtle differences depending on the length of the brush. Using various size brushes to create different shades to create designs, the look and feel of the pattern can vary greatly depending on the skill of the craftsman. In addition, this is a traditional technique that has been passed down from generations. My favorite print though is this right here. Something about the blue and black background that is so enchanting and mesmerizing. If I haven't said it, it's all indigo dye, which Hiroki and the team at Visvim love, so the black isn't really black, but a really, really dark blue. Here's what Hiroki and the team at Visvim had to say about the indigo dye. Natural indigo dye possesses an uneven textured appearance. This is brought about by the many difficult to control elements, like variations in temperatures, chemical properties of the dye itself, and irregularities rooted in the idiosyncrasies of human touch. These days, katsuzomi or indigo dyeing has gained popularity as a dye method, but the majority of the katsuzomi is performed by machines that churn out flat, evenly colored yarn. We are employing katsuzomi hand dyeing technique, which is extremely time and effort intensive, in order to create richly colored fabric that can proudly stand side by side with fabric dyed in natural indigo. Of course, simply hand dyeing something that does not automatically make it good. It is crucial to have a deep knowledge of indigo and years of accumulated experience. Synthetic indigo was originally meant to be quick dyeing and even, typically considered to be the desirable traits, but we thought it'd be interesting to use the dye to an opposite effect. If the end goal is not clear, it is impossible to think creatively in this manner. This is an idea that didn't exist before the world of indigo dyeing. I want to take a moment to talk about the feel of the fabric. It's somewhat normal or expected from just 100% cotton, and the different case for me is that I have felt old vintage bandana from other Visvim pieces that I own, but for first timer, it will feel as though you have been cheated out of a lot of money. It feels very rough to the skin, very old, broken, beaten down. We're used to getting really, really good fabric if we're getting items from high fashion for 2-3 grand. But then you remember that the cotton, the Kofu print, it was sourced from the 50 to 60. Indigo dye, mud dye, mending and fixing by the team at Visvim, and then whatever life they lived before Visvim got their hands on them. The whole exterior has gone through so much, so then you learn to appreciate why it's so fragile looking and feeling. You appreciate the little holes here and there, the hand stitching done by experienced artisan at Visvim. You learn to appreciate the flaws. This Visvim jacket is a bit like Homelander. There's depth, it's complex, human. Whereas Superman, he's more of an ideal. He's not a real human being. It's something to aspire to. I also want to touch upon the orange color of this mostly indigo blue jacket. If you remember, the stenciling process includes persimmon tanning. I've never been able to pronounce that word correctly on the first try. Persimmon. I still think I'm pronouncing it wrong. Simply putting two and two together, you get some oranges on the fabric from the tanning. I'm a fan. I am glad though that there's not a lot on my jacket, because think of it this way. When you order fries from McDonald's, sometimes they put like 1 to 2 packets of ketchups in there. So when you only have 1 or 2, you really value it, and it often leads you to want to get more. But then, if they would have handed you 10 packets of ketchup, you would like it less because you have more of it, so you're more frivolous and you don't think about it as much, so you use it more and it doesn't taste as good. One more thought I had, though I appreciate the stenciling process, blah 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 blah, I think I would have loved some of these fabric to be embroidery. That wouldn't last as long, obviously, but I would have appreciated a bit more. So let's say on this sleeve right here, the team at Visvim could embroider the print so the wearer can feel it a bit. Just a thought. I don't know how it would look, but tactically speaking, it would be interesting. A thought that came to my mind, and might have came to your mind as well. What if this whole jacket had no blank spot? What if the whole jacket is covered in intricate flower designs? On the one hand, the fact that it's not fully wrapped in Kiko flower make the hunt for them a bit more special. Some people are not lucky to get the jacket that are as full as mine. On the other side though, if it were to be fully wrapped by the print, by the Kofu print, the intricate print, it would make getting the jacket a bit better. I could have bought a few other Kofu jacket, but I didn't like the print on those. But then again, it would make the hunt a bit less interesting, and a lot of hunting down your grails. I wouldn't say this is my grail, but to most people it is. When you're hunting down the grail, oftentimes it's the hunt that is exciting. Once you have it, you lose a lot of excitement. You lose, roughly speaking for me, I lose about 70% of it after I receive a jacket. To wrap all of this segment up, I am a big fan of the version I got. I would have never got the plain one. I am happy with all the intricate print and the location of them. With regard to the sleeve, I like this side more because the prints are more to my liking. I am a bit more careful when I wear this jacket. For example, when I go to the bathroom, I'm very, very aware of not leaning against a dirty wall or touching anything. And when I wash my hand, I roll up my sleeve super high and I let my hand dry before I let them touch the jacket again. Whereas on a regular jacket, sometimes I use that jacket to dry my hand because, Anyway, I love it. I can't say enough good things about this. The Kofu print is very interesting. If you were to ask me, would you pick the Kofu print or would you pick the bandana print? Genuinely, my answer would be, I would just get both, because I can afford both. Western yoke, very minor detail, but I appreciate it for this practical aspect. It reinforces an area that takes a lot of beating when you wear the jacket. Aesthetically, if it weren't here, I would miss it because Hiroki chose the blending route. The opposite of that would be the Celine jacket. It's very prominent. If you were to take it away, you would miss it. Colors. With the bandana prints, there's more variety in color, but with the Kofu, they're all going to be different shades of blue, or as my Schweigermutter will say, blouse. Hi, Mrs. John. The lack of options make it a bit easier for me. I suffer gravely from the paradox of choices. Think scrolling Netflix. There are so many movies and TV shows, so I get a bit overwhelmed and I end up scrolling for much longer and sometimes not watch anything at all because of the fear of missing out. What's that famous example? If you choose to be a teacher, you choose not to be a firefighter, to be an engineer, a computer nerd, whatever it is. So you really only have two choices. You get the plain version or you get the version with some intricate flower detailing or animal detailing. Lining. I made a really in-depth video with regard to what is on the print and the history. I will play it now if you haven't seen it. If you have, please skip to here. Okay, so a quick history of the Battle of Little Big Horns, or the Battle of Greasy Grass, known to the Native American. Fought on June 25, 1876, near the Little Big Horns River in Montana Territory. Federal troops led by Lieutenant Colonel George Armstrong Custer against a band of Lakota Sioux and Cheyenne warriors such as Sitting Bull, Crazy Horse, Chief Gall, Lame White Man, Two Moon, Pretty Nose, and many more. Tension between the two groups has been rising since the discovery of gold on Native American lands. When a number of tribes missed the federal deadline to move to reservations, Custer and his 7th Cavalry was dispatched to confront them. Custer was unaware of the number of Native Americans fighting under the command of Sitting Bull at Little Big Horn, and his forces were outnumbered and quickly overwhelmed. Custer and many of his men died in the war, mutilated, scalped, and embarrassed. This battle marked the most decisive Native American victory and the worst U.S. Army defeat in the Long Plain Indian War. The demise of Custer and his men outraged many white Americans and confirmed the image of Indians as wild and bloodthirsty. After the battle, U.S. government sent more men, and in the next few years, most tribes in the area surrendered and moved to reservation. The painting that I showed earlier was by Cassily Adams. It's a very white-centric painting, putting Custer in the middle, making him look like the hero of the story. Even the name of the battle, Custer Last Stand. So it paints Custer as a hero, for which he was not, killed many men, many children. But this is just one of the many examples of American propaganda. He lost the battle, so he wasn't heroic at all. Similar to American and their refusal to admit their defeat in Vietnam War. They just said, we left, we didn't care about the war anymore. No, you lost the battle. You lost the war. You lost to the Viet Cong. It's okay. So you saw the painting by Cassily, and then you saw the print on the Visvim. So it's very different, and that is because the Visvim lining is an homage or inspired by the drawing or painting done by Red Horse, a Lakota Sioux warrior at the time, later became chief, who was present at the war. There were many other drawings for other warriors from the battle, but the most well-known and well-preserved was done by Red Horse. He did about 42 pictographs or ledgers of the battle. I couldn't find all 42, but I'll show you what I can find. Hiroki and the team at Visvim simplified the painting by using only red and blue. They did blue with indigo dye, they did red with cochineal dye, and then they mud dyed the whole lining. In the Red Horse, they were a bit more colorful, but I like the simplification. You can also see the mutilation, the scalping, the beheading. A lot of brands would have shied away from this because they fear controversy, they fear the backlash. I'm very glad that Hiroki stuck to his guns and they didn't care about the backlash. They said, I'm gonna make this as realistic as possible. And prior to purchasing this jacket, I didn't know about the Battle of the Bighorn, or should we say Greasy Grass. Now this is just a theory. I think on one of his many trips across America, he visited the Lakota tribe, learned about their history, felt compelled to share their history because of the whitewashing of the Adams drawing, and then because Red Horse, his drawing I didn't know existed. When I Googled Battle of Little Bighorns, the first thing is the Adams picture. So I think Hiroki got close to the tribe. He just felt compelled to share their story, and now I'm passing on all the knowledge that I researched, and now I'm passing on to you guys. Hopefully you do the same. I think that would make Hiroki and the team at Visvim very happy. As far as the material goes, this is the updated rayon version, which is superior to the lining and cotton blend. It's thicker than the other blend, it feels and looks great. Though not advertised as a reversible, you can kind of do it. As much as I love the Battle Greasy Grass though, the Kofu print, it is much superior. The Kofu print also doesn't feel that good to the skin. It is old, and I'm a bit scared to put extra stress on them. You already saw the mending all of the wounds of these fabric. It'd be best to put extra care into them. If the other clip didn't say it, the cochineal and indigo dyed on the lining is hand done individually, because some men on that print have to be blue, some have to be red. The wound only show up on certain moment or certain men. You just saw the measurement, but I also went to side by side with the fake one. Both are size 4, yet a few inches differences. Why? The Kerchief jacket, they used to be super small, fit like a very Japanese brand product. So that was prior to 2019-2020. So then they upgraded it, so now the 2020 onward, it fits a bit more internationally friendly. You can see the differences mainly in the chest and shoulder, might only be a few inches, but they make a big difference. Think a few grams of sugar when you're baking. It can change how your pastry look and how it tastes. Let's now look at these two jackets with hoodies and sweater underneath. You can see which one looks more comfortable to wear. The sleeves are long, perfectly cover all of my hands, a bit oversized to be honest, but I love this more than the last one. If I were to have this Kofu and the bandana, I would pick this Kofu over the bandana 5 out of 6 times because of how much better this Kofu fits me. Both prints are great, both are amazing. You know, if the other one wasn't fake. So, oh, speaking of sleeve, at the end you get 2 snap button closures if you ever want to limit air from going through those holes. I never really use it, but it is there. Option is good. We like option. You also get this thin strip, not thin. You also get this strip of material that is there to compensate for when you do button it up. If you look at this Bodhi jacket right here, when you button that up, it changes the shape of the sleeve. Visvim, Hiroki, everyone at the team, they really thought of everything. They are just so superior to almost every other brand when it comes to attention to detail. A lot of brands should steal their ideas, to be honest, to improve their brand, because Visvim, it is next level. I now understand why so many Visvim hardcore fans and how most of the consumer, they're so much smarter, because Hiroki, he provides you with so much information and he really draw your eyes to these small attention, to these small detail to make you pay attention. And you know, they make sense. It's just one of those things that makes sense that Visvim does. The sleeve here are also on the wider side, so it's a lot easier to put a hoodie or sweater underneath. I'm a fan of this new fit. I understand that Hiroki intended for this to be a middle layer. However, by making the sleeve wider, you also give the consumer the option to wear the exterior layer. I sometimes put my Bodhi jacket underneath there because I love wearing my Bodhi jacket and it feels great. It does not feel restrictive at all. The length is a bit longer than I would have liked it to be, but not the end of the world. It's not thigh length yet. I would prefer the length to be more like the fake one and not this standardized new shape one. But I rarely wear this jacket close up, so the length isn't that intimidating or that pronounced. Something to think about though, if you love crop jackets, which a lot of brands are doing nowadays, because it looks superior on the body. It complements the body much better. My recommendation though, only if you can, only buy the new version. On top of the sizing being more internationally friendly, you get the superior rayon lining. I bought this with the idea of just say, yes, I rectified by mistake, and I have now felt the real deal in my hand. I was gonna sell it right away, but I found myself thinking a few times like, maybe I should keep this and sell something else to replenish my YouTube expense fund, you know? Anyway, go through the size if you can on the newer version. I would recommend 1 size up for that comfortable loose fit. If you get the older version, get 2 size up. If you've seen already, please skip to here. For the people who haven't, please watch it in full. This product utilizes rayon fabric. Please be aware of the following point below and exercise a degree of caution when using this product. The colors of the garment may bleed onto other garment when wet or excessively rubbing occurs. This product utilizes a very delicate fabric. It is not intended for strenuous physical activity, as it may damage the fabric and stitching. Rubbing and friction may cause pilling on the surface of the fabric. Rayon may be easily torn when wet. It is not intended for strenuous physical activity, as it may damage the fabric. This product has been processed using a natural dye. Thus, each piece will have a unique color, texture, and an appearance where no one product is alike. A characteristic of using natural dye is that the dye may accumulate around the seams and pockets area, causing each piece to become unique. Due to the use of natural dye, with repeated wears, it is characteristic for the color to fade from the garment and develop a unique appearance. Please be aware that the garment may bleed onto other garment when wet or excessive rubbing occurs. This product utilizes 100% natural down filling. As such, feathers may come out through seams. Please carefully remove loose feathers. If garments become wet or moist from usage, please dry thoroughly before storing. Avoid folding jacket tightly when in storage to preserve the natural lightness of the down filling. If the outer membranes ripped or become torn, seal with mending tape to prevent loss of down filling. The metal component used in this product can be discolored or even rusted due to its characteristics. This product has hand-stitched detailing, giving each product a unique appearance. Be careful not to snag the thread during wear. This product is not intended for strenuous physical activity, as it may damage the hand-stitch areas. Because of this, we will not repair this product. Parts of the garment utilize a vintage fabric, thus the appearance, pattern, textures, and color is unique to each, where no one piece is alike. Possible fraying, scratches, holes, and blemishes are characteristic of vintage fabric. Please be aware that this garment is not defective, as the use of vintage fabric is intentional. Today's manufacturing process has plateaued in a way. Mass production is the norm, with products moving from one end of the manufacturing line to another, and manufacturing processes involving human beings are limited, resulting in the absence of individual skill and personal character in finished products. People simply make uniform, predictable products. I suppose one could say that this is something many of us were once striving to achieve. I feel that the combination of natural dyes and modern manufacturing techniques create the potential for future goods that possess both individual character and a personal touch. This is because natural dyeing cannot be controlled perfectly. Factors that cannot be controlled by humans result in product individuality and depth, and by adding this dyeing process to modern manufacturing approaches, it is easy to inject a bit of unique character into even mass-produced products. This is something that I started thinking about several years ago when I was making indigo dye products. Since then, I have enjoyed creating items for each successive collection while striving to utilize the fusion of natural dyes and modern manufacturing with the goal of making interesting product. Natural indigo dye. The concept of using the blue pigment found in certain plants to dye fabric came to Japan from China during the 3rd, 4th centuries and became widely used after the industrialization of cotton production during the Edo period. Known for increasing the strength of cotton and acting as a deterrent to insects, indigo dyes was often used in traditional Japanese utilitarian garments like the noragi and yakata. It is resistant to metals, acids, and alkali and holds its color relatively well. Pale shades have low resistance to infrared light from the sun and indoor light and will exhibit unique fading over time. Mud dye, a type of vegetable dyeing technique originated from Amami, Oshima, and Okinawa. The bark of the Japanese hawthorn is boiled and the resulting liquid is used to dye the garment. After the first dye, the garment is immersed in iron-rich mud from local rice paddies, which bring about a natural reaction with the iron ions to create a deep brown color. For this technique, a garment must be dyed over 30 times to achieve a light mud color and over 100 times to achieve a dark mud color. Will discolor if exposed to fruit acid and will turn a reddish color if exposed to detergents containing alkali. Mud soaking. The garment is soaked and dyed in iron-rich mud from local Amami Oshima rice paddies. Mud soaking results in high resistance to light. Mud-soaked fabric will turn black upon contact with plant nectar or sap. Vegetable dyed. Dye made from boiling plant or insects and combining the resulting liquid with iron or aluminum to create a color reaction. Unlike synthetic dye, where it is possible to achieve consistent coloring, it is said that vegetable dye never yields the exact same color twice. For darker shades, one must dye the garment many times. This color is when exposed to infrared lights, metal, fruit acid, and detergent that contain alkalis. White Polish goose down. So I looked into it. Here's what I found. To classify as a Polish goose down, the eggs of the goose must be purchased from Polish government breeding program called the Polish National Research Institute of Animal Breeding. They started this process of breeding white goose down species called the white coluda in 1962. All of the hatcheries in Poland, they must acquire a license from the government to breed these geese, and all of these red tape, they just mean that it's easy to trace in the supply chain because, Canada Goose, Montclair, they always get this bad rep from animal rights activists about that they're not sourced ethically. So with this particular jacket, it's so ethical, the supply chain is so clear, it's so transparent. You need a license from the Polish government. So you cannot get better than that. So what all this red tape means as well is that the price tag, it's going to be trickled down to the consumer. So that's why the down are so much more expensive. The white Polish goose down, the coluda, they're so much more expensive than every other down. And what I learned about the coluda geese is that so they're raised in free open fields. So they truly can roam, so they're happier. And if you're not a foodie, a cow that can be roaming, a chicken that lived a better life, will have better meat, better skin, better all that. And the Polish goose down, they only eat something called the avena fatu, which is just a fancy word for common wild oat. And the Polish goose down, they can live in -30 Celsius. And the research told me is also farmers, they only take the down from the breast and the adamant. So, and they also sort it by hand. So they only choose the largest of downs, and then when it's too small, they don't go into production. So That's why it takes a long time to gather enough down to make one of these jackets. In my initial impression video, I said something along the line of, dude, this thing is so lightweight. I am so concerned about this being a nice down jacket for winter. The ratio is 93 down, 7% leather. A lot of high quality company like Montclair, Canada Goose, Rick Owens, blah blah blah, Givenchy, they use the 90-10 ratio, and after we've learned about the white Polish goose down, I don't think any of us are complaining about the extra 3%. If anything, we want it to be 95 to 98, you know, it's great. This down jacket is great. Right now, my warmest jacket is this Canada Goose, and it's amazing. When I wear this Canada Goose, I'm sweating when it's 10-20 degrees out. I do want to talk a bit further about the feel of the fabric because I think it will surprise a lot of you if you do get this. It feels a bit plasticky while also being matted out, so it's a bit dry. It's very complicated, but we have to remember, very old, went through a lot of dye for the look that make Hiroki wet. The material also attract every dust possible, so I'm constantly brushing off fluff while new ones are getting on if I'm getting some of the old one off. The cotton is also roughing up and coming out, so there's that element too. I own a few leather jackets, and when I touch those leather jacket, I feel like a luxurious bitch, but when I feel this fabric, I feel like a fisherman that have worn this jacket for decades while lobster fishing, you know, for centuries. Not century, for decades. Which of course is the intention of Hiroki. He's a clever one, you know, and since I told you my favorite print, let me also tell you my least favorite print. It's this right here. It's a bit too bright for me. They retail for roughly $3,000, and that was according to the 2023 version. So for the 24 version, it might have gone up because it is getting harder to find Kofu print, you know, especially from the 50 or the 60. Roughly on the resale market, they resell from $1,000 to $6,000. It really depends on the print, the year of production. You get some with just the indigo dye, plain Kofu. Those one go for like roughly 1 to 2K. If you're okay with that, you should. And then you get one like mine that have a lot of these intricate print. Anyway, you know, Visvim, they use a lot of hand technique to make this product, the dyeing process, the indigo, cochineal, mud dyeing. Each Kofu print is hand dyed and hand stitched, I believe. Sourcing the fabric is also hard. It's a bit easier to justify the price tag than say like a Dior jacket. So the prices on the resale market on the older model, you can probably find it for 1.5 to 2.5, sometimes 3. If the prints are really good. The newer model, they go for a lot more because of the superior rayon lining and the better fit. Also, sizes. Sizes play a major role. Size 4 and 5, they are so hard to find. I was very lucky to get this size 4. If you got the money though, it's a beautiful jacket. Get it while you can because I don't think the price is ever going to go down. Well, you know, from the Visvim, but on the resale market, you can bargain down the seller for sure. What wearing it is like. So let's talk about pants first. Very similar to my Kerchief video. It's also blue. I mainly wore these in my needle trouser, really leaning into the Western Americana vibe. The other pants that looks good with this jacket is the banana trousers. Look so good together. I'm still a bit iffy about skinny jeans, but you can do it if your pants are mainly skinny. You just need to pair with a nice footwear that doesn't look too unorthodox. For example, don't wear your skinny jeans with a triple S or Geo basket. The other great pairing has been my Bauhaus trouser, but only with the Kiss boots. Very fashion forward looking. It's a great looking outfit. I mean, you're looking at it. Let me know what you think. I don't have a pair of good looking denim. The one you're seeing right now is not the best looking. It's just a weird shape, but that's the only denim I have. I'm sure if you look at Visvim, they have some beautiful denim. It is an outdoor brand after all, and he loves indigo dyed. I'm sure I still have B-roll left over, so please enjoy. See if you have something similar in your closet so you can visualize how this jacket will look in your closet better. After all, you know, that is what the goal of this segment is. Can I stop talking now, or have we gone through all the B-roll yet? Shoes. Ideally, I would have loved to wear these in my cowboy boots, but those are still in Munich. Oh, what if by the time I release this, I'm already in Munich watching this with my mother-in-law? By the way, her and I were still a bit awkward around one another. One of us really just need to fart, so to just break the ice really. But I like my mother-in-law. She's been super supportive of my relationship with my partner. My father-in-law too. Hardworking man, providing the kids a lot of good vacations, a bright future for sure. And you know, I will make sure to be there to guide them as well because they're good kids. Back to shoes. That got off topic super quickly. Geo basket. They look okay, a bit more carefree, a bit more relaxed. I'm a fan. And then you get the Saint Laurent boot, providing you with the feminine vibe with this masculine jacket. It's a good juxtaposition or dichotomy. I love using those two words, by the way. Even if they sometimes don't fit, but in this case they do fit. juxtaposition, dichotomy, beautiful words. And now for the best looking combo, my beautiful, beautiful Crocs. They fit so well together. Better than my Kiss boot, better than anything. The relaxing, ironically beautiful looking of the Crocs, contrasting it, I mean, to the masculine jacket. It's a beautiful, beautiful combination, a beautiful, beautiful juxtaposition. They look okay with my Luna boots. I mean, they're both great pieces individually, but I don't particularly have a strong opinion about them when you put them together. They look great with my Greedy Zoo boots. That's what I mostly wear them with. The rubber outsole really toned the boots down, and the jacket is somewhat a blend of suiting and playfulness of the streetwear, so it's a good combo. Let me know what you think in the comment. Tops. I don't particularly enjoy wearing this with a hoodie or sweater underneath. I love this jacket as a sole loner, and I did put a Bodhi jacket underneath a few times because I love wearing my senior court jacket. I get very giddy when I wear the senior court because I love the fact that it's hand drawn, so I can't get over it. My senior court jackets are beautiful, just look at it. I did this look one time with the Visvim coat on the exterior. Surprisingly, looks decent to me. You know, slightly overwhelming, a lot of stimulant, but the red and blue, they don't beat each other up that much. Hiroki really toned the brightness of both of these colors down, so they work in my opinion. I also recently acquired this banana sweater, and I did this look a few times. It was a good look. It was more just for me gathering data. They also look good with a button up underneath, a bit more formal attire, but with a bit of an attitude. It's a very, very versatile jacket. Look good with most tops, so this jacket will work in your closet for sure. You are bound to find something in your closet that will look good with this jacket. I also tried it with these two bags. With the LV, it looks fine. Not a bad look. The playfulness of the ya polka dot, it's a good combo to me in my opinion. Let me know what you think. This is made better with the introduction of the Stefan Cook strap though. That strap, it can make any outfit look better. And then you get the Chanel Gabrielle hobo bag. That's my favorite look. At the time that I got this jacket, I was also gathering data for my Gabrielle bag, so I wore them together a lot. In this B-roll, it was roughly 30 degrees with incredibly high wind, high enough for my camera to fall multiple times. I had to get away from the beach to this park so I can film without worrying my camera would die. It was super, super cold that day. When I was just wearing my banana sweater, I was cold, but when I put this jacket on, I felt as though I could stay on for much longer. Oh, I also was wearing leggings underneath just to let you guys know how cold that day was. With proper glove, footwear, headwear, I think this jacket could be worn for most of the winter days. Oh, by the way, I'm speaking as if you're only wearing this with a shirt underneath. If you were to layer a hoodie or sweater or any knitwear underneath, this can definitely be your winter jacket. The superior white Polish goose down, it is amazing. I feel as though I cover everything. Beautiful jacket, the fit, immaculate. Ask me any question you may have. Talk to me about this in the comment. Hit me up for sizing help. Don't ask me for legit checking though. I'm not an expert. There are way more experts in Visvim on the Visvim Reddit. So go there. My name is Makasy. Beautiful jacket. I will see you next week. Bye-bye.